And hello. Welcome to another letter of the ABCs of communication, connection, and speaking. And today's letter is L. Now, this one I didn't have to work too hard for. This one is real easy. And I'm going to just give it to you straight up. And it's listen. Listening. What's up, everybody? Good to see you. Welcome in. Teresa's in the house. Chris is in the house. Hello, hello. So the ABCs of communication, connection, and speaking, back with it on another letter. Okay, the letter L is in the house, and it is listening. And I'm trying out a little bit of a different time. Y'all, let me just say, life be lifing, and life is short. So please live it to its fullest. Enjoy the people, call them, spend time with them, even when you're tired. I'm just saying that. What up, everybody? Hi, Kenzie, Donnie. What up, Skylar? ABCs of connection, communication, speaking. The letter is L, and we are talking about listening. And I'm going to make this one pretty straightforward. In the space of how does listening improve you as a communicator, improve you in the space of how you connect with people, and actually in the space of speaking, it always comes back to listening. And now that I've been going through all of these letters, and now I'm on letter L, it's like so much to take into consideration. And all I'm saying is you can pick one of these and say to yourself, you know what? Hey, Arnold. You know what? This is one area I can lean into. This is another area. Like, I'm going back to my list. Give me 1 second. Maybe it's fear that you need to concentrate on if you're trying to show up better. Maybe you're really working on growing your influence. Maybe that's what you concentrate on. This one, maybe you just need to work on your listening. Maybe you need to be more present and you need to be an active listener. So I definitely think this is something that if you got all the rest of the ones down packed, but listening is something you should not underestimate. And I'll make it real plain that people, what's up, everybody? People want to be seen. Look at me, right? People want to be seen, and people want to be heard. People want to be heard. It's like they kind of go hand in hand. There's one thing to be seen, I see you, but I'm also not listening to you, right? People, there's some type of gratification knowing that you've been heard, knowing that you've been understood. And there's an even greater gratification that also comes along with that, is we become appreciative. We value the people who actually take the time to listen to us, who truly listen. And when you say truly listen, it's thinking about, okay, I'm listening to you. Y'all are listening to me with the intention of understanding. Don't mean you got to agree. I'm not saying that, but with the intention of understanding, comprehending. Active listening is a way to express empathy, right? And empathy is a common denominator, a constant in the space of building rapport and building trust. And when you go about listening to understand, listening to comprehend, I also would extend it to the space of listening just because you care about the other person and, dare I say, just their humanity. What's up, Courtney? Welcome. I think we oftentimes forget that when we are communicating, or even when we're speaking, and I'll take this even to the space of like public speaking. You're talking to, not just one-on-one, but you're talking to many. You got a room of 30, you got a room of 300. And once those numbers grow, these people that are listening to you, they become less people and more of an audience, more of a crowd, right? But in the space of really listening to people, like, let's not forget that they are people. Now, you would say in the space of public speaking, well, I'm the one doing the talking, they're the ones doing the listening. So what does that really have to do with it? But even in the space of communicating, reading the room, you're not just hearing for what sounds are audible. You're also kind of, there's like this energy that you're listening for, that you're feeling for. And when you start to blur everybody out as just a crowd, as just an audience, you miss the fact that they're humans, individuals, right? So then when we bring it back from the macro and then look at it in the micro space, looking at individuals and the person that you're talking to, remembering that they're a person and that they're human. Listening is how you really acknowledge a person, acknowledge their presence, acknowledge their thought, acknowledge their opinions, their ideas. And like I said, you don't even have to agree with it, but just listening so that you are understanding, so that you're able to say, so that you can even summarize or recap. So from what I hear, from what I understand, you feel this, you thought this, you said that. Oh my goodness. Their minds, they will be blown, right? And I put listening in the space of like eye contact. And in the space of communicating and public speaking, we're always hearing about eye contact. But it's one of those things that's extremely underrated. And the power of eye contact equates to the power of listening. So seeing, appreciating, acknowledging someone's presence as a being, as a human, can all be validated, and how you sit and you just listen. Just allow the words to go in, then allow your mind to comprehend what it is that they're saying. And just that exchange of you being present for when they share their words, when they share their thoughts and their ideas, that alone is a gift within itself. What up, Will? So the next thing I want to say also about active listening and the power of it, and another way that you can use your listening skills is particularly powerful in conversations that you may not necessarily be the expert in. You might be entering into a networking event, and then a group of people are already having conversation. You're wondering, it's awkward for me to kind of like build small talk. Look, how about don't do small talk? How about just go into a conversation and just listen? That is it. That is a powerful thing to do. And then from the space of listening actively, you now know who's saying what's being said, what's being exchanged, what are we talking about, what points are people are making. And then the thing that can come with the act of listening is just asking questions. Now I'm going to give an example. I do this not all the time, but this is an example. Sports conversations. Like, I watch football, I watch basketball, but I particularly like sporting events because it's an excuse to have a party. It's an excuse to have people over. So I like the festivity of it all. But I don't always understand exactly what's going on. Well, I know what's going on in the game, but I don't know the politics. I don't know who got traded for what. I don't know whose stats is where. So I do a lot of active listening at these gatherings that are surrounded around a sporting event that I don't know much about. And I be listening, and I'm still a part of the conversation because based off of what I hear, I ask extra questions, right? So in the space of active listening is you're doing some information gathering. And even if you aren't the expert or even well versed on whatever the topic is, you can gather enough information to ask a valuable question so that other people then can showcase their knowledge, their know-how, their expertise. You know, they can share their opinions and their thoughts and ideas on everything. What's up, everybody? Hey, Royal. What's up, Robert? So in the space of listening, one, you're listening because you're acknowledging the person. Everybody wants to be seen. Everyone wants to be heard. You're showing that you're present in that conversation. But then secondly, to be, what do they call it? Like a conversationalist. It isn't necessary for you to absolutely know all of the information to be the expert, the subject matter expert in that convo. You could just take time and listen, do some information gathering, and then put some things together, connect some dots, ask people questions. You mentioned that, Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp. I heard that they're teaming up to do a show together. What are your thoughts on that? Like, you think that's going to be a good team? Why or why not? I don't even watch these shows, right? But if they're talking about it and they're having a conversation, well, you mentioned that this is going to be a disaster. Well, why? How come? Just ask questions, but it's only through the active listening that you're able to even gather the information and figure out, oh, this might be a good question to ask. And now you're supporting other people in their voice. You're sharing the stage without taking up the stage. So, hey, Kevin. So thinking about active listening and just listening in general, I say these two things that can help you be a better communicator. You don't have to communicate a whole heck of a lot to be an effective communicator. When you're asking questions, that means you're guiding the conversation, you're leading the conversation without feeling like you have to contribute to the conversation. But asking the questions is really good contribution. What's up, my professional agenda? So in that space, even if you say to yourself for the next week, oh, today's Monday, just for this week, I'm going to concentrate on two things. One, I'm going to use my ability to listen to someone as a way to validate their presence, validate their thoughts, validate their opinions, just validate their humanity. I see you and I hear you. Okay. Hey, Saya. And that's one way that you can use your listening skills in order to support other people. They will find value in you because you're taking your time out to be present and just listen. The second way that you can utilize your listening skills is when you do show up at networking events, random conversations, you're at a party, you don't know Jack from Jill, and you enter into some of these conversations, show up first and just be listening. Smile. Smile. Thanks, Saya. Smile. Oh, no, for real? No way. Now, what did you think about that? Oh, for real? Okay, I'm having a whole conversation with myself, but the idea here is you are just listening. And in the space of that, you can gather information about who feels what and all of that, and then ask questions. Now you're inquisitive. Now you're giving them a platform to talk more about what it is that they know, to share their opinion. Why? Because everybody wants to be seen and everybody wants to be heard. And oftentimes we get so caught up in how good of a communicator we are or what aspects we are contributing to a conversation that we don't realize that our presence is plenty. And then through you being present and listening, now you're validating other people's presence in your space. It's a powerful thing where it's like, this goes to the connection piece. You got communication, you got speaking, but this goes to the connection piece. I know I can run my mouth. I know I do a lot of talking. I mean, I'm doing a lot of talking right now. I might as well ask y'all a question so I can at least read and listen what y'all got. How many people feel like they're a good listener? Do you enact the tool of listening intentionally in order to build stronger connections with people? Right? This is kind of more so where I'm going with it. You know, y'all know I just be showing up on this live and I got a letter and I gotta flow with it until I figure out what exactly we talking about. Validate people through listening because everybody wants to be seen and heard. But then you can support, you can edify, you can promote people, you can create a stage for people because if you're doing some active listening, that means you can do some information gathering, you can connect some dots, you can be curious, you can ask people questions, and now you got other people other people talking more than you. I mean, they say it all the time that like when you are having conversations with people, it's better that the other person does more of the talking. Like you don't have to do much of anything, but if you're asking good questions because you're listening, then they're going to feel like, oh my God, they paid so much attention to me. She's so nice. She's so kind. I don't know what it is about her, but she is just amazing. It's because I was just asking you all the questions. The process or the approach of just being a listener allows you to make the other person the star. And when you can make someone else feel like the star, then you look like their best friend. They'd be like, oh my God, they're so nice. They're so good. They're everything, right? The other thing that I was going to make mention of is another quote that says, the guy gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. That's so true. That's so true. But that just scratches the surface as to the power of listening. And for those of us who are very talkative, because there probably are some of us in here that just know how to run our mouth, and I'm one of them. But the process of saying, oh, fudge ring. So this week, I'm going to just focus on being an active listener. There's a lot of things that also happen with you saying, I'm just going to listen. You become more present. You're just sitting there. And like I said, your presence is plenty and you're just listening. You're offering them an opportunity to be seen, to be heard, to feel human, when oftentimes they're probably not seen, they're probably not heard, or not seen enough and not heard enough. And so stepping into this week and saying, I'm just going to focus on just listening. I'm just going to listen. You're also going to learn a lot. You become a much better observer too, right? You learn about how people show up. I believe that active listening is a great way to kind of sharpen your ability to read a room. Reading a room, there's so much to reading a room, but in the space of active listening, you come into a room first and you hear and you listen. Where are people's emotions? What's the energy feel like? Are people excited? Are people talkative? Are they not talkative? When you're listening out for those cues, that's how you're reading the room. If you're listening to conversations after a session just ended, after a speaker just got done, and you're listening to people, now you know how you might approach a conversation because you know how people are feeling, right? Like, how did you know I felt that way? Because I was listening. So anyways, like I said, I wanted to get to the point on this one and just talk about how listening is a tool. And the intention behind it is not just because somebody told me that active listening is, oh my gosh, what was that? I'm tripping. I'm not saying that active listening, just do it because they say that it works, but I really feel that sitting in a posture and saying, I am really going to listen. I'm really going to listen to understand. I'm going to listen because I want to validate you. I want to listen because I value your thoughts, your opinions. I might not agree with them, but I perhaps, value what that contributes to whatever the conversation is or whatever it is that we're working on. That is about facilitating connection. And now if you want to build rapport, if you want people to feel comfortable talking to you, if you want people to kind of open up, if you want people to be more vulnerable, if you want them to be more authentic around you, you have to usher a space that allows them to feel comfortable. And listening is a big component of that. So being an active listener, being an intentional listener, and honoring someone's space, honoring their presence, honoring their thought, honoring really just their humanity. I'm trying to break that humanity piece down more, but there are these core essential things that we get pleasure and satisfaction and gratification out of this life. And as a human, being seen, being heard, being respected, active listening is a way to accomplish those. Active listening and just listening intentionally, not just saying I'm going to listen because they said that active listening is going to make me a better communicator and connector, but no, I'm actually listening to you because I honor and I acknowledge and I respect your presence, your thoughts, and your ideas. Might not agree with it, but I am going to honor, acknowledge your presence here. And that's what listening does. Now, how you then turn that into a strategy or a tactic to be a better communicator, to be a better conversationalist. But when you're listening, you're gathering information. And you don't have to be the subject matter expert or know a whole lot on a topic in order to enter into a conversation. But with the listening, you'll get some info, you get some tips, you get some insights, and then you can ask good questions. And asking those people those good questions then give them an opportunity to talk more, which means they're going to be seen and heard more. And since we all want to be seen and heard, you're multiplying the opportunity for them to be seen and heard. But just make sure at the end of it, You are present enough to listen. Beyonce has a song, listen to the words of how to say. Oh, that wasn't, that was from Dreamgirls. Anyways, I actually do not know words to songs. That is just not my thing. I will tear up some karaoke, but that's because I have the words. But don't ask me to sing a song. Even if the song is on, I will just jack up some words. Anyways, those are the things that I have to say. Those are the ABCs of communication, connection, and speaking. Today's letter was L, and we're talking about listening. I gave you 2 sharp things that you can do. 1, listen with intention. Because when you're listening with intention, I wouldn't say listen with intention, meaning have good intention for why you're listening. That intention should be, if I'm listening, I'm honoring the person, their presence, their thoughts, their opinions. I'm just honoring where they at, and they're here with me, and that's that, right? The second part of that is now if you want to be more proactive in how you're contributing to the conversations, listening allows you to gather information for whatever the conversation is, and you'll be able to set yourself up and ask them some good questions. And then you're putting it back on them. So they are the ones that are being seen and heard, right? Becomes a good little cycle. So that's what I got for y'all. And then also, if you have made it to the bottom of this live, if you're watching this on a repeat, or if you're watching it live, I want to share with you that now that I've been back doing the ABCs of communication, connection, and speaking, I've been listening. I've been listening, not really listening, but I've been reading your comments. I've been reading your DMs. I have been, really allow myself to receive everything that y'all are sharing with me as we've been moving through this. And I want to let you know that soon we are going to be, maybe you know this or not, but my company, Speak House, offer communication coaching. We do offer coaching, and we have a membership, right? So we have members within Speak House who are getting coaching for their communication, their connection, their speaking. And we are gearing up for a cohort. Toot, toot, woohoo. And so this cohort is an experience of people are familiar with privilege, bringing that back. I do a lot of work with companies, but now we're bringing it back to the people. So if you want to learn more about our membership, our upcoming cohort, we are actually hosting an open house so that you can get an experience, you can get a taste of what our coaching sessions are like, our group coaching sessions are like. So we're having an open house. That's going to be in a couple of weeks. But if you're interested, make sure you DM me, open HAU, let me not clap so that you can hear me. Open HAUS, Speak House, HAUS, because HOUSE, well, that domain was gone and they wanted like $10,000 for it. So we decided to go with HAUS. So DM me, open house, and I will send you the information so that you can reserve your seat for the open house. Like I said, it's going to be coming up in a couple of weeks. And this is where you're going to be able to experience how we coach our clients and our members. And what that experience is like being a part of one of our cohorts. So it's been real, y'all. I got to go because I keep getting a phone call. I'll catch y'all tomorrow, and bye.